I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it will be the stars and cars of the SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series, coming to you from Kansas Speedway on arguably the better side of the Mississippi River in the state of Kansas. Well, the city of Kansas City anyway. It's right across the border from Missouri, people. You know what I'm talking about. 1.5 miles in length, 17 to 20 degrees of variable banking in the corners. Tomas Schechter holds the track record here, set in a 2002 IndyCar at 24 seconds, which is absolutely ripping around this place. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth, not as always, but as on occasion, by Mr. Ben Carswell, a regular in the TNT Shock Series and the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. And Ben, I was looking for somebody to fill in because Bizzle is, well, we'll say he's on assignment tonight. And you said, hey, what's the car and what's the track? And you say Kansas and the Cup cars, and you go, yeah, that's a pretty good race.
Yeah, this is, every time the Cup Series comes here in real life, it's a fantastic race. We've had two great races this season. When iRacing schedule follows them there, it's always a great race to go do. This is one of my favorite intermediate tracks in iRacing, period. And it's because of that variable banking, I think. You can get a lot of time running right up next to the wall, and you can get just as much time running down low. It's really just about what you want to do with your tires, because that's the big factor here.
Yeah, that's going to be the big one, and how the pit strategy plays out here, because these guys are only going to have 2 sets of tires in the box tonight. And quite frankly, that makes a big difference in how you want to choose to run this race, especially with how the stage breaks come, and there's no guarantee of when you're going to get the caution flag.
Yeah, 116 laps, 2 extra sets of tires, you're looking at 3 stints. I mean, you don't really have a ton of insurance. You don't really have that moment where you can just go, all right, I'm going to take a gamble here, and if it doesn't work out, I'll be just fine. You gotta really measure your gambles and understand, hey, if this doesn't work out, I might be up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah, quite frankly, that is something that these guys can, especially if you're thinking about trying to save that set of tires for late in the race. There's a lot of strategy that comes into play. We'll pick up the number 7 Hunter's Fried Pickles Chevrolet, also Law Chevrolet on the side of that machine for Newburgh, Indiana's Hunter Waters. One of the first cars out on the racetrack, and he's been trying to play the game of start towards the back-ish and pick up the hard charger points and the bonus money that comes with that. We'll see. A lot of the race cars are already out onto the speedway in a 10-minute qualifying session. Take a look at the weather conditions. Oh my goodness, 79-degree ambient temperature, 125-degree track temperature. This place going to be slick tonight, buddy. Partly cloudy skies, not much in the way of wind, as Hunter Waters will go to the top of the charts at a 31.790. Andrew Mraz now going to jump to the top of the board in the 45 at a 31.769. Nice lap there from Mraz. 31.76 with a 9. Right now, 7.
Top lane's got a lot of speed in qualifying. You can keep a lot of speed up there if you get right up next to the wall like Hunter Waters did. That's... Whoa.
Oh, buddy.
Fast laps.
How about it? Johnny Avila putting up a heater in the Zim Speed Shop, TeamZSS.com entry. In fact, his run is done. My goodness, that was a heater for Johnny Avila. 31.398 seconds. 31.471 for Anthony Hanley. Very quickly drops down to position number 3 as Quentin Clark in the Mach 5, number 42. Going to move himself up to second with a lap time of 31.470 seconds. And just like that, new quick time, top of the board. Tyler Seville, 31.340. AJ Digby going to slot into second at a 31.354. That makes 3 Will Wursler Racing cars inside the top 4. Oh, buddy, Braden Carroll goes even faster. 31.326, 31.32 with a 6 for Braden Carroll. My goodness, we are seeing some really fast laps coming up here tonight. So we're following along with the 15 of Garrett Johnston. The Ashley Ford Mustang.
That is top 5 under a tenth of a second. That's all those top 5 are getting absolutely everything out there.
Yeah, let's pick up this one.
That small.
Let's pick up Troy Haight in the Woodfather Chevrolet Camaro. Troy was quickest in the practice session, 8th quick on lap number 1 at a 31.483. Jeff Yenish, another of those Will Wursler Racing Aligned cars, slots into the 5th position at 31.421. Lap number 2 for Troy Haight down over the start finish line, and it will be good enough for 4th quick on the board at a 31.386. You said we had 4 or 5 cars inside of a tenth. How about it's now up to 6 cars within a tenth of a second?
Yeah, I mean, that is very impressive. Color me impressed. When you see a field that's so tight at the top like this, that's the fastest the car will go. That's as fast as it goes. That is really impressive.
Now Justin Rideout in the number 8. He's been pretty quick in qualifying this season as well. He is now working qualification lap number 1. Daniel Pinkston will not get a lap on the board, so the 22 machine will start towards the back end of the field. Still haven't seen the 34 of Doug Wysocki, the 2 of Mike Larch, and the 15 of Garrett Johnston also will start towards the back of the field here tonight, as Johnston does not get a lap in qualifications either. Both of his laps do not score. Lap number 1 for Justin Rideout will be 17th quick at a 32.104. Little bit surprising there from Justin, but we'll see what he can do here on lap number 2. The car looks good off of turn number 2. Richard Smith II also out on the racetrack. His qualification run is completed. 31.898 seconds. The lap timer record. Oh, and Rideout may have kissed the wall off of turn number 4. It was close. See what lap number 2 is going to look like, and it will be not scored. There. Yep, not scored on the lap for Justin Rideout. That number 8 machine is going to be fun to watch come through the field. Very quickly, these guys rip through qualifying here, Ben. And, man, like you said, you put 6 cars within a tenth. We're going to have 9 cars within a quarter of a second. But then you get a little bit of a break between 9th place Andrew Mraz. He's a quarter of a second back. Brandon Mefford in the 10th position is going to be almost a half second back. What that typically, at least to my familiarity, means you're going to kind of split up into 2 packs a little bit. And you're going to have to work your way through lap traffic potentially a little bit sooner than you might anticipate.
Well, and you look at the time split there for that, what's going to be the lap traffic. From Mefford on down to Moeller, that's just under a tenth of a second. I mean, those guys are going to be packed up. And you're going to come up, eventually they'll get there, make the way around, and they'll catch up to them. Half a second a lap, we call that 60 laps on a 30-second lap. That'll be halfway through. And you come up to 5 cars under a blanket. That's not a great position to be in as a leader.
Yeah.
And you're going to want all of the 4 or 5 lanes that this track has.
Yeah, that is exactly right. While we have a minute here, let's make sure we get a moment and thank all of the fantastic sponsors that have come on board to support the Sim Racers Club this season. We'll kick things off with Real Assist coming on board as a sponsor. Also, P1 Battery, thank you very much for your support Custom Paints and Diecast putting up each of the 3 seasons champions are going to pick up a prize. Also, grand champion prizes going out the door courtesy of Custom Paints and Diecast. SimSpeedShop.com, the presenting sponsor of the SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series. Find all of your sim racing hardware needs over at SimSpeedShop.com. All 3 season champions pick up some prizes from them. The overall grand champion picks up some prizes. And they are also presenting Safe Driver Awards, random draw Safe Driver Awards going out the door. Northland Leisure picking up the sponsorship of, gosh, they have a bunch of them now. The Stage Breaks picking up those. And also have to thank Realty Executive Saskatoon, sponsors of the Most Laps Led, Hard Charger, and Most Positions Lost prizes. Ton of stuff going out the door for these guys, and thank you very much to all the sponsors that help make these shows possible. Want to remind everybody, coming up next week, one of our favorite races we get to call all season long. It's Throwback Night at Darlington, and there is a throwback paint scheme contest that the broadcast team gets to decide on. Bizzle is he's very partial to all of the old Robert Yates looking race cars. That will definitely get his vote. I like the throwbacks, and I agree with admin Jordan Barry, who says, I like the number appropriate throwbacks. So if you're running car number 47, you can't run a Dale Earnhardt throwback. It just doesn't make sense. You got to be running the 3 or some variation of. Johnny Avila ran the GM Goodwrench colors for a while. Johnny, you can't run that paint scheme either. That won't win you the award. But yeah, looking forward to that one. $15, $10, and $5 in iRacing credit going out the door for the top 3 best paint schemes coming up next week in the Will Worsler Racing sponsored race at Darlington Raceway. Looking forward to that one. But just about time for us to go racing here as we are down to 45 seconds left to go. Mike Larch getting his qualification run in. He will line up in the 7th position here tonight with a lap time of 31.445. Doug Wysocki electing not to qualify, so he will start at the rear of the field this evening. But that also makes him ineligible for the Hard Charger Award as well. You at least have to make an effort in qualifying. That's where I talked about Hunter Waters, trying to play that game a little bit. Hunter's going to line up in position number 14 here tonight. And he always manages to find himself towards the front, trying to backdoor his way into some cash every week. I like the strategy. It's a bold one, Cotton. We'll see how it plays out for him tonight, because Kansas is one of those places, Ben, where passing is possible. It's not like this is a one-groove racetrack or anything, but at the same time, you do kind of have to work your way forward through the field as well.
Yeah, you got to work your tires to get your way forward through the field, so... I mean, 125-degree track. That is, you could see the heat rippling off this thing. I mean, it is hot.
Yes, it is, as we're down to 1 minute and 35 seconds left for these cars to get out onto the starting grid. So let's take a minute here and show you tonight's starting lineup for tonight's race at the Kansas Speedway. Starting on the pole in Azim Speed Shop, TeamZSS.com, number 24 Chevrolet Camaro will be Braden Carroll. Lining up to his outside in the Chubbies, Hunter's Fried Pickles, number 11. It is West Virginia's Tyler Seville. Row number 2 tonight will have the Will Worsler Racing, number 14 AJ of AJ Digby, lining up alongside of the Woodfather, number 28 Chevrolet of Troy Haight. Row 3, the Zeem Speed Shop, TeamZSS.com, Chevrolet Camaro of Toronto, Ontario, Canada's Johnny Avila, multi-time series champion, looking to climb his way back up towards the top of the line here this evening. Lining up alongside will be the Rayos Homemade Sauces Ford Mustang, belonging to Jeff Yenish, that car number 89. Row 4, the SimSpeedShop.com, number 2 of Michael Larch. That is a fantastic livery there. Nice to see some sponsor dollars getting out the door on that number 2 machine. Lining up alongside of the Mach 5 design, Wolfelt on Spotify, number 42 of Quentin Clark. Row 5, the Sim Coaches, number 88 of Anthony Handley. His Chevrolet will line up alongside another Sim Coaches Chevrolet Camaro, this one being the number 45 belonging to Andrew Mraz. Brandon Mefford in the Spartan number 83 Chevrolet Camaro will line up alongside of the P19 Battery number 19 of Tom Wilhite. Those cars on row number 6. Row 7 will see the Horizon number 43 of Richard Fletcher alongside a teammate, Hunter Waters, in the Lost Chevrolet Hunter's Fried Pickles number 7. Row 8 on the grid, the Black Clover number 83 of John Moeller, and the Apex number 23 Toyota Camry of Richard Smith II. Andrew Moore Jr. out of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in the Wise Markets number 77 Ford Mustang, alongside of Justin Rideout, the JW Racing number 8 Chevrolet. Row 9 on the grid will be the Ashley Ford Mustang of Garrett Johnston, alongside of the number 34 of Doug Visaki. Lining up shotgun on the field, the PNP Lawn Care number 22 Chevrolet of Daniel Pinkston will round out the field. Those final 3 cars not taking a time in qualifications. So again, they will, well, I guess Johnston and Pinkston did attempt to qualify, so they would be eligible. They just didn't have a lap scored. Fields off of turn number 4, ready to hit that Sim Speed Shop restart. So green flag in the air. We are underway here at Kansas. Lap number 1 very quickly in the books, and it will belong to Braden Carroll. AJ Digby going to be not far behind. Carroll now running the inside of the racetrack. Carroll running a little bit higher line through the corners as we're following the battle here with Johnny Avila, Quentin Clark in the 42, and Tyler Seville in the 11. And I tell you what, man, we are already 3 wide back about the mid part of this pack. At some point, you think you have to settle down a little, don't you?
Yeah, but I mean, if your plan is to run the top, then nobody's running the top. You're going to keep running. I mean, if you are comfortable running right up against the wall, there's no reason to go down unless somebody else is running in front of you. And on these restarts, the track is so wide. There's 3 groups, 4 groups. The cars are grouped together right now. They're very close. Everybody's got dirty air. You got to get them while you can.
AJ Digby making the move on Braden Carroll. He's looking to the high side and bringing Jeff Yenish along with him. Quentin Clark and Bolstetter Braden Carroll still holding on to that inside lane. I didn't necessarily see this being a pack race, but with the way the stages break up, and especially tonight, we're going to have a caution at lap 30, so you're going to have to make this a 2-stop race. The lap 65 stage break will not have a caution flag attached to it. So once you run out of the, I'll say, artificial cautions, the organic ones that happen because somebody wrecks, when you run out of those, the guaranteed caution periods, you're kind of stuck with what you have, and you really have to start playing the strategy game.
Yeah, 30 laps is enough that it's, you need to take tires. You got to take fuel. No question about it. 3 wide. Oh my God, a little swirly.
Oh, buddy, that was a big wiggle for AJ Digby off of 4.
Big wiggle, and it looked like he, I think he's just slower than under his wiggle. He got a little bit of help in the back.
Yeah, but now the battle for second still ongoing here. Andrew Mraz, Braden Carroll battling as Jeff Yenish sneaks out to the race lead.
Yeah, I don't think that you're going to see any tire saving happening here for the first 30 laps, because 30 laps, I can get a new set of tires. Everybody's going to come with me and get a new set of tires. You're going to see a sprint right now.
Ordinarily, I would think that, but the problem is you only have 2 sets of tires in the box. So if you use one of them at lap 30, then you've got to go, you're talking about having to go another, 30 odd laps. Actually, more than that, about 40 laps on your second set of tires if you're going to break the race up into stints like that. But if you want to have that extra set of tires in the box, you almost have to run this as a one-stop race and try to get yourself as far out as you possibly can before you make that pit stop.
That's a bold strategy, and if you're seeing somebody taking it real easy right now, that would be my guess. They say, hey, I'm not going to put any stress on my tires for these 30 laps. Don't care about the stage points. I know that I can come down, get a set of tires, just like everybody else, and still have one that is good for a late race restart. That's a possibility, but you're going to really lose out after that stage race. You're going to get put up front with everybody, and they are going to go full line.
Well, going on board here with Troy Haight, and maybe a little bit of the kiss of the brakes going into turn number 3 just to get the car set, but these guys are carrying a ton of speed around this place as he's locked in battle with the 3-wheel Wursler cars just up ahead. And then he's got a whole pile of cars behind. Tom Wilhite, Mike Larch, Brandon Mefford, Richard Smith, all going to be there, and Haight's going to get the run on Waters off of turn number 2. And that's the difference. You run the high lane, you're going to keep the momentum wound up, and you might save your tires a little bit too. You run that inside lane, it's the shorter way around, theoretically faster, but you may be burning up the tires a little bit more as well.
Yeah, and you sacrifice that momentum. In stock cars, even with the 5-speed gearbox these next gens have, there's still a momentum gain. If you kill your momentum in this corner, you're punished. Look at that long straightaway. You're punished the whole way down.
It's a great point. Seeing a little bit of a blink here from Troy Haight, and we've seen that before. And one of the interesting things about this league, Ben, is that with multiple race control officials, they're monitoring things like drivers that blink. And if you start to blink too much, they'll tell you, hey, back it out, head to the back of the field. You can keep running, but don't put yourself around anybody else. That can be a big-time source of frustration. And then you have to contend with how do you make your way through the field if race control is saying, hey, the connection's a little bit iffy here, solid it up and get yourself going again.
Tiptoe. Ooh. You got to tiptoe your way through and try and just rely on attrition. But I mean, if people are racing like this and running into each other, I don't know that attrition is necessarily on the menu.
Yeah, that is almost a definite here that these guys they're going to just have to contend with maybe not seeing a lot of cautions, and that's very common. I mean, the typical race, we will see 1, maybe 2 cautions come out. My goodness, these guys are trying to have one here towards the back of the pack, just back behind Tom Wilhite. Brandon Mefford, Richard Smith, Mike Larch, Garrett Johnston, jammed up, jelly tight, headed off to turn 1.
It's those 2 lanes, I mean, if you were at a 1-lane racetrack, Charlotte, think of some of the other hats we've had. Charlotte, Kentucky, maybe. You end up in this position where if you're not running the bottom, you're kind of out of luck. But here, there's 3 grooves right there, and I don't know that anything really changed. That's a slide jump.
Yeah,
but, you got 3 grooves you can run, and it allows you to stay side by side.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one here for the next 112 laps, as we are now at the halfway point of stage number 1, and Andrew Mraz will be your race leader at the line. Jeff Yenish trying to pick up the top spot, diving down to the apron. Quentin Clark's like, man, where do I go here? He's going to get up towards the Kyle Larson line. The Harry Gant line's the one that's all the way up against the wall. 3 wide, battle for the race lead. Yenish backs out. And now it's going to be the teammates, Mraz and Clark, through 3 and 4.
They saw Johnny wasn't making a ton of progress on that bottom line. The golden rule of stock car racing, or the second rule of stock car racing, is go where they aim. It's the first one obviously being wreck someone without wrecking yourself. The second one is go where they aim.
I was ready to say if you ain't first, you're last. Braden Carroll having a really good season. That's that gray and blue car. Well, silver and blue car down on the inside of the racetrack. Carroll is your points leader entering tonight's race with a 13-point advantage over Johnny Avila, a 20-point advantage over Quentin Clark. And Carroll's going to make the run for the race lead. Oh, no, as we've had a disconnection out of Andrew Mraz. He's going to fall all the way to the back of the field. Oh, what a tough break for Andrew Mraz. That's just a punch in the gut right there. Battling for the lead. The car is really quick, and he's going to fall out of the race here on lap number 18. If the driver disconnects, they do have one opportunity to join back in. You don't get a caution. You don't get your laps back or anything. But you get one opportunity to come back and try to finish out the race. Oh, man. Fourth place, A.J. Digby smacking the outside safer barrier exiting turn 2.
Exit, and I think 20 laps in, maybe you're always flying up an exit again. You start losing that little bit of grip after about 15, 20 laps. I think you're going to start seeing these cars kind of move around a little bit more.
Well, and where that
and
really...
You don't have to run the bottom. When you run the bottom, you push up out of the corner. And that's where you get in trouble.
Yeah, because it goes from push to snap oversteer on corner exit, and it's almost impossible to catch because you go from push, 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 and then just the back ends around on you.
Yeah, well, these cars are worse at that than a lot of the older stock cars that we'll see. You know, the COT, the Gen 6, they have a lot of side force. They're unequal cars. You know, these are very symmetrical, so they don't have that side force. They have the diffuser on the bottom. They're very symmetrical. Everything is straight up. So when the car gets sideways, you don't have that extra security of the asymmetrical arrow pushing you back down. When the car goes, the car's going.
Yeah, it's
so
almost like
be able to hang on.
These cars, at least, and again, I am not very good at this, but my experience in driving them is they're kind of hard to wreck. They want to correct themselves into a straight line. But once you've gone over the line and you've completely lost it, it's gone and there is no opportunity to save it.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. I've spun these a few times, and it's always, you get braver and braver because you just think, I can save this, I can save this, oh, I can't save that. And there.
Yeah, I got it, I don't got it.
Yeah, that's the next gen experience. And it's something I'm sure these guys have figured out and experienced, just going, I don't think this is working. So I think we might have caught the wall again.
Oh, man.
A ton of momentum coming down the back straightaway.
And you see Quentin Clark kind of fall out of the middle group, slides down in front of Hunter Waters. It's almost like super speedway racing where you're trying to manage energy a little bit and just say, hey, I'm not going to let this guy get ahead of me. You don't have to do it with a block. You just have to do it with kind of disturbing the airflow to the front of his car.
Yeah, just get the air off the front and there goes your front grip. And there goes the whole aerodynamic philosophy of the car. Because these cars with the underbodies that they have, they produce a ton of downforce relative to, you know, the mediocre amount of downforce that they do produce. But a large percentage of that is produced through the underbody. So if you can disrupt the air rather than block the air, and they'd be in the wall again.
He's given the right side a workout. That is for sure.
He is. I think that's our third time we've seen it. He's still running the top, and if I was him, I'd probably want to get off the top.
Well, yeah, but the problem is we've seen when he tries to run the bottom side, the car just pushes really hard to the outside wall. That's where you really just kind of have to hang on here and hope you make it to the end of the stage. I mean, Digby's sitting in 5th right now, up against the outside wall again. But you're in position for stage points, and those make a huge difference the later we get in this season. Oh, man, they're 3 wide again. Johnny Avila going to stick the 63 down to the inside.
Greg Clark got a little tight in the middle there. That 42 just slid up the track. Avila might be able to get a 4-for-1 special.
Well, yeah, we talk about the Kmart 2-for-1 blue light special. Oh, Hunter Waters bouncing it off the outside wall there as well. Yeah, these cars are going to look like they've been to Bristol or something by the time this race is over. Wow, that was a huge save from Clark.
Real sideways.
He wrecked. He just didn't finish it.
Yeah. I think we saw Larson do that at Vegas. I mean, he was very sideways.
And that's one of the interesting things about the progressive banking is it's not the old style of, like you talk about a Charlotte that's 24 degrees of banking from bottom to top. This is 17 to 20 degrees, so you can kind of chase the car up the hill a little bit easier and try to get it to comply with what you want it to do. But it's not always a guarantee that it's going to work out that way.
No, sometimes you're too sideways, but if you're just a little bit sideways, you can jump up and catch that extra degree of banking, and it'll push you back around the corner. But that's a fine line.
Man. Wow, Johnny Avila already up to position number 4, having a fantastic drive tonight in that Zim Speed Shop entry.
Clark was loose again off turn 2.
Yeah, and it forced Troy Haight to bail out down to the inside of the racetrack. He was completely off throttle as we are already at lap number 30 of 117. 1 to go here in stage number 1. Braden Carroll holding about a 0.2 of a second advantage over Jeff Yenish. Will slide around and pick up your top 3 as they come off at turn number 2.
And, coming off 4 there, Clark smacked the wall again. So, and there he goes, getting loose in the back there again, back shot. So, these tires are going to be needed for a few of these drivers, Digby and Clark particularly.
Off of 4, drag race down to the line, and it will be Braden Carroll getting the win in Northland Leisure stage number 1 as caution flag flies for the first time here tonight. Oh my goodness. 30 laps went by incredibly quick.
Great run from Johnny Avila. Pull up to P4.
Yeah, he kind of fell back at the start of the stage because he started 5th. So it's almost like a little bit of a recovery drive just to get back up to where he was again. Hunter Waters +8, and he will be your hard charger, at least to this point in the race. Garrett Johnston up 7, Jeff Yenish, Tom Wilhite, and Andrew Moore Jr. all up 4 positions apiece in that battle for the Hard Charger Award tonight. Unfortunately, looks like Andrew Mraz may be the driver who is going to get the most positions lost award tonight, as he is now 7 laps down to the race leader and down 11 after qualifying in position number 10.
Man, that is painful. That is...
So the field's going to make their way. Well, we'll see how many of them are going to elect to come down pit lane. Oh, keep an eye on Tyler Seville, because most of the Will Worsler guys are going to follow what he elects to do, and it looks like everybody will be on pit lane this time to get their first set of Goodyear Racing Eagles. A couple of Kansas Sunoco Racing fuel. And yet everybody that is on the lead lap will be coming down pit lane this time. Andrew Mraz will stay out.
Let's see if anyone elects to not take tires or take 2 tires. I don't think it's going to happen, but somebody might get adventurous. And there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Johnny Avila, 8.4 seconds, 2 tires, stop right sides only. Going to be a drag race off of pit lane between Braden Carroll and Jeff Yenish. Carroll's going to win that one, followed by Tyler Seville, Mike Larch, Hunter Waters, Quentin Clark, Tom Wilhite, Troy Haight, and Brandon Mefford will be your top 10 for the restart.
That's a bold
How
play.
about it? I'll tell you what, we call Bizzle America's worst crew chief on these broadcasts. I am floored that you got the does somebody take two tires call here, because it always seems like taking two tires just doesn't do enough for you to really gain any advantage. But
I would not have taken two tires for the record. I was seeing who would do something I wouldn't do. I don't know that I see a benefit for Johnny here. He's used up part of a set of two tires. There's no benefit to having an extra left side set. That doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, actually, let's bring
he was
up
already fourth.
Let's bring Johnny Avila up into the booth here with us. Johnny, I got to ask you, was that an intentional two-tire stop?
Oh, I took no tires.
He took no tires. Okay, so fuel only. Are you at all concerned that these things are going to just fall off a cliff here?
No, I did a pretty good job at saving my tires. I'm probably going to fall all the way back to last. The thing is we only had two sets in the pits. So everybody in this race, they only have one set left. So if there's a caution at any point and I can come back, I'll have a shot at it. I didn't want to take one set so early in the race. And be stuck with one set.
We were talking about that as a possible strategy play, was saying you don't take tires at the stage break because you want to have that extra set of sneakers in the box. This is kind of now a made your bed, you got to sleep in it deal, unless we get a caution after everybody makes their final stop of this race.
Yeah. Or even if we do like 20 laps and we're at the stage or to a point where we can make it to the end on fuel, I can take tires and not really worry.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck the rest of the way here. Thank you very much for checking in with us. We appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.
So there you go. That's Johnny Avila. As the field does have the choose rule on restarts here as well, Ben. You basically, at the start-finish line, you either got to be at the white line on the apron or up against the outside wall. And everybody gets to decide which lane they would like to restart in. And on the front row for the restart will be the 63 of Johnny Avila alongside of Azim Speed Shop teammate Braden Carroll. Row number 2 will have Jeff Yenish and Tyler Seville. Mike Larch and Quentin Clark on row number 3. Row 4 looks like it will be Hunter Waters and Tom Wilhite, I believe. Nice run for Tom. Running 8th after starting in the 12th position. Troy Haight, Brandon Mefford will occupy row number 5. Row 6 will be, let's see, trying to count the cars back here. Richard Smith II lining up alongside, oh, there we go. Now Brandon Mefford sliding back. So field's getting themselves ready to go here. Pace car is in off of turn number 4. Johnny Avila will lead them down into the Sim Speed Shop start zone. Green flags in the air. We are underway. Braden Carroll quickly dives down to the inside, right at the start-finish line. Yeah, fantastic restart for both cars on the front row.
And then, yeah, the falling back that Donnie predicted is starting to happen.
Yeah, that is exactly right. Avila just, I mean, he is going to be absolutely swallowed up here. But if he's able to hang with them for 10 or 15 laps, the tires do start to equalize. There is a fair bit of fall off to them. And once you get to like 30 laps into the run, everybody's got the same junk at that point.
Yeah, you mentioned it when we were summing up stage 1. Whoa, he slid up there. I would avoid 3 wide, Johnny. I don't think it's going to work for you. Not on the bottom. You mentioned it summing up stage 1. He started fifth, fell back and finished 4th. That sounds like tire saving to me. So I believe him that he took care of them, but there's still 30 laps old. So this is going to be something to follow. Late race caution. He gets to do oh man, where is he now? 11th. Jeez.
Yeah, he is absolutely dropping like a rock. And we're keeping an eye on him because, quite frankly, it's a tough thing to do when you have fresh tires. The speed difference can be absolutely huge. To a guy that's stayed out on old tires, you can almost run him over unintentionally.
It's huge through the corners, particularly, and that's where you really can't adjust your line. When you're at the absolutely Moeller had to just jump up a lane. That's really difficult to do when you're at the absolute corner. And it's hard to switch your lane. That's how wrecks happen. So yeah, I do not envy his position. Rideout is making a charge. He's picked up about 5 positions in the last one.
Yeah, he's working the tires hard to get to the front of the field, but now you don't have an organic caution that's coming. We're 25 laps from the end of stage number 2, and then it's going to stay green. So you're really trying to work this out where you could potentially have to go a full fuel run. You got to do some work saving tires here.
Yeah, I mean, a full fuel run, you're looking at, I think, about in the area of 50 laps. So, I mean, we saw Digby around after 30. I don't know what 50 is going to look like, but I don't think it's going to be pretty. So, pushing hard now.
Well, and one of the best in the game at saving tires is the 11 of Tyler Seville. He came out of pit road in 4th, 5th position, all the way back to 10th already, just a handful of laps into this run in stage number 2. That tells me that you're trying to do as much tire saving as you possibly can. Johnny Avila's kind of got to go the other way. He just has to go until I can't control the car anymore. Make your pit stop. You still have one left in the box. Everybody else in the field is in absolutely full conservation mode at this point.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing he's going to get another full fluid out of those tires. And even if he does, he's going to be at such a slow speed. I wouldn't be shocked to see him try and pull an undercut here at some point. 5-10 laps before everybody else, pick up a bunch of time on track.
Picking up the 83 of John Moeller as that car big time squirrely at the midpoint of turns 1 and 2. He falls all the way back to the 20th position.
Toward the apron.
So now things starting to settle down at the front ever so slightly. Justin Rideout has moved up into the 2nd position, only about a 2/10 gap to race leader Quentin Clark. Troy Haight running in the 3rd position is 9/10 of a second back of the race leader already. This is where if you have the connection issue and you can kind of build 2 or 3 tenths on each side of you, it's really not that big of a deal. It really, the connection issues only come into play when you're kind of really close to somebody. No reason that Troy Haight can't finish this race towards the front of the field.
No reason at all. And I don't think we've seen a major issue since then, so you pray for Troy and everybody else in the field. It's a one and done, and things continue on as well. So those front 2 are pushing. Gap is stable, but they're pushing up front. I'm interested to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, it's almost a strategy call that you're going to make to just say, look, I'm going to try to get as much of an advantage as I possibly can over the rest of the field and hope that basically the cautions, either you get a caution that times out right, or you have so much of a gap that they have a lot of space to make up. The more time you have to give up on pit road, especially, or less time you can give up on pit road, especially if you're good at getting on and off of pit lane, that can be the difference in a race winning strategy too, is just saying, hey, y'all got to come catch me now.
Yeah, if I was in Clark's position, I would not be fighting him. And if I was in Rideout's position, I wouldn't be fighting Clark. I'd be running just half a lane off him, getting clean air on the nose, and just pulling through, and making sure I scrub my tires as little as advance of this long run. That you have to plan for the long run. You can't plan for a caution. You got to plan for the long run.
That's exactly right. And with us not having the caution at stage break at lap 65, you still have to fight a little bit. Jeff Yanish, that's right in the middle of this pack of cars, the 89 kind of red and cream colored machine, I guess you would say, the Rayo's Homemade Sauces entry down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's currently sitting now outside of the top 10. You still want to be there to get the stage points. That's a big thing. Even Johnny Avila's strategy, I mean, he's back to 18th and 10 seconds behind the race leader. Yes, he got some points in stage 1, but you're giving up a lot by going off strategy here in stage 2.
Giving up a ton of points in stage 2. All of them, actually. I'm really interested to see how this plays out for Avila, because he is... Wait for it. There he is.
Barely off of turn 2 as the guys that are in 6th are entering turn 3. That's not even talking about the guys that are at the front of the field. We kind of have 4 distinct packs.
Almost 4 seconds back.
You have your top 5, Clark, Rideout, Haight, Larch, and Wilhite. They're kind of running together all within about a second and a half of each other. Then you have this pack we're following here, 6th through 13th. Tyler Seville is a further 3 seconds back of these guys. Then you have Hunter Waters that's about a quarter of a second back of Seville. And then another group, Digby, Fletcher, and Avila. All 5 of the Will Worsler racing cars in the show tonight are running, with the exception of Jeff Yenish, who's in this group. The other 5 are 14th through 18th, and very obviously on a heavy tire conservation strategy. Oh man, as Daniel Pinkston gets up, slaps the outside wall, exiting turn 2.
You gotta walk that fine line with tire conservation. It's very technical on that 8 laps, but you have to keep some speed up, and that's the art of it. How do you go fast while saving tires? It's the Scott Dixon skill of how do you simultaneously run the same laps as everybody else while using way less fuel. It's an art, you gotta master it, but at some point you are too far behind where you just don't have the tire to make up the gap even when you're in a better position than everyone else. Another blink there from 8, little one. Rideout's probably cooled off here. He's just said, I can't get the pass made without using up everything. I'm gonna relax, take my time, save the tires.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, we're down.
Appears to be running max speed.
Yeah, Troy Haight now looking inside of Justin Rideout off of turn number 4. Mike Larch is there as well in the newly liveried simspeedshop.com entry. For those like Bizzle that only speak stock car, that would be a paint scheme, not a livery. Yeah, Ben almost has the appropriate accent for calling the stock car race with us here tonight. They're going to come around John Moeller, put him 1 lap down. Larch now having to look inside a Rideout. Tom Wilhite has caught right back up as well. You almost get the feeling Justin Rideout had a great run early, but he's already burned the stuff up. We're 23 laps into the run, and if you push these tires hard for 20-plus laps, you're not going to get them cooled down, especially with weather conditions like we have here. Track temperature still over 120 degrees.
Yeah, that's a lot. And remember we said first stage, we looked at about 20 laps in and said, we're going to watch the tires start falling off here. And we started to see people getting really loose, slapping the wall. Justin Rideout's been pushing pretty hard for the entire stint so far. I think you might be starting to see it come to fruition, but like you mentioned earlier, he's got a gap.
Oh, and he's coming down pit lane. Justin Rideout already on pit lane. Trouble for the number 8 machine. He is going to head towards the back. You almost wonder if that's potentially a meatball issue.
I wouldn't be scheduled at this stage. Interesting to see what happens here.
No, coming in, yeah, Crew's going to work and jacking this car up. That'll be the final set of tires available to Justin Rideout.
That's a call.
Yeah, and going to go a lap down in the process as well. Now, he'll be the first car 1 lap down unless John Moeller is able to come past. So at this point, it would be Rideout and Moeller competing for the free pass.
It looks like Moeller went by him there on our time in scoring screen, so if you're Rideout, now you gotta save your time. No more squeezing to death. You gotta caress them now. You have to be gentle with them. You gotta make them last 60. Am I doing the math right here? 57 laps. Destroying them in 25.
Let's go on board here with Quentin Clark, your race leader. He sounds like he is in full clutch and coast mode into the corners. Listen for it again. You can almost sound like the engine shuts off.
Yeah, the red spike back up.
It's basically, it's a way of, I mean, you're saving fuel if you think about it. You're not using the brakes to slow the car down. You're just letting the inertia of the corner, or the decreasing inertia through the corner, slow the car down. And by not braking, you're probably saving a little bit of tire as well.
Yeah, I mean, you use less fuel. You know, through some engineering and physics, you're going to use less tire. But I don't know if that's the best way to do it, especially because I don't think the fuel number is reachable.
Got our buddy Robert Kreiser checking in the comments. What's going on, Robert? Hopefully you and the family are doing well. What's interesting is Troy Haight and Mike Larch are not making up that much ground on Quentin Clark here.
I think Clark might spot side by side. Right? Take this opportunity here.
Well, yeah, that's a great point. You only have to go as fast as you need to win. Anything else is extra. So at this point, if you're thinking long-term, you know, and not looking to the end of the stage, you only have to beat the other guy by enough. If you beat him by 7 or 8 seconds, that's sort of in it doesn't matter territory. Yes, it's dominant, but it's more than you need to do. How about Braden Carroll going 2 for 1? That's a blue light special. Picking off both Mike Larch. Yeah, that's exactly right. Lap 65, final lap of stage number 2. And right now, it looks like it will belong to Quentin Clark if he can execute the final 2 corners here at Kansas Speedway without issue. Green and white checkered flag will go in the air this time by, and Quentin Clark picks up the win in Northland Leisure stage number 2. And again, no caution flag this time. as they are starting to work up on Anthony Handley. That will be the next car to go one lap down. And Johnny Avila is on pit lane. This time by Avila comes in. He made him last. Oh, and we've got a caution. Oh, no. Handley spins right after the leader passes him. And Johnny Avila may have gotten away with one. Avila will be one lap down.
He'll get the wave around. And
Either the wave around or the lucky dog. One of the two.
It looks like Hanley went on the apron to let him by and just... We say it all the time. The apron is bad. Don't hit the apron. And he just went a bit too fast for the apron.
Well, let's take a look at the NRN replay. Yeah, tried to get it down onto the apron. That may be. The car slides right up. Oh, man, a big hit from Mike Larch. Oh, and a tough break for Tom Wilhite. Having a great run. And now
he did everything he could there. He locked the brakes up, put the brakes on, came to us, did the best he could, but...
And now Doug Wysocki electing to stay out on the racetrack. Everybody else that's on the lead lap is on pit lane. Justin Rideout, Johnny Avila now will get the wave around.
Just fuel for Clark. That car never got jacked up.
So now this kind of puts everybody else on a similar strategy, basically the same strategy as Johnny Avila.
Only fuel for Seville. He jumps quite a few positions. It was an 8-second stop.
Let's see if we can't get a word in here. Well, let's see. First, we got a... penalty issued to car number 88. That will be an EOL for Anthony Handley. Now, let's see if we can't get a word in here with Quentin Clark, our race leader. And Quentin, welcome up into the booth here, buddy. The car has looked absolutely fantastic tonight, and from the looks of it, that may have timed out about just perfect for you there, because Johnny Avila, who was on an alternate strategy, looks like he may be trapped a lap down to you guys. This could not have worked out any better for you in terms of trying to keep some of the competition at bay.
I hope so, man. I pushed the tires way too hard in the first stage. I was just having way too much fun trying to run with Mraz and get to the lead and getting competitive early and just burned them way off and lost a lot of stage points I needed. So I was really focused on trying to put it out front and then save as much as I could, and my tires were a lot happier for it. So I didn't take tires this time, and we'll see. If we get another caution, I got to set laps hopefully. So if not, hopefully I saved enough.
I think that's the big one, is that now just about everybody looks like they were fuel only. Maybe a couple of cars electing to take tires here. But that's huge to have that extra set of sneakers in the box, because if you get a caution from here on out the rest of the way, you can really play that to your advantage.
Yeah, I was a little worried I screwed myself over because this is a long green flag run. I had to choose. I had to think for a second where I was going. Yeah, this is such a long green flag run race. But, yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll let you get ready to go back to green flag racing. Thank you very much for joining us up here in the booth. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Let's get Quentin Clark back down into the appropriate team booth there, into the Pie-Eyed Racing booth. Field is doubled up. They've gotten the one-to-go signal at the start-finish line. It's going to be Quentin Clark and Garrett Johnston on the front row. Johnston qualifying in the 19th position after having a lap not scored. He will be your hard charger of the race to this point. Braden Carroll and Brandon Mefford on row number 2. Troy Haight, Jeff Yenish will occupy row number 3. Tyler Seville, Richard Smith II on row 4. AJ Digby and Andrew Moore Jr. will line up on row number 5 as we get ready to come back to the restart.
This is going to be interesting. I think we've got some different tire strategies. We're going to have some different speeds on this first lap. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, for
people on the bottom.
For guys like Troy Haight and Jeff Yenish that took tires, they're starting on row number 3. They should be able to kind of blast around these guys and potentially open up a pretty big gap. And that's always the danger of playing the keep a set in the box strategy. If you don't get to use them, you wasted them, basically.
Going to be really interesting to see.
Carroll's all over Quentin Clark, and Jeff Yenish is flying here. Oh, man, one up into the wall. That's going to be Garrett Johnston sliding along the outside safer barrier in turn number 2, able to get the car down to the inside of the racetrack. And here comes Jeff Yenish.
He could have spun it off the wall and come flying down. Oh, Clark
big trouble for Quentin Clark. Wow, that was a huge moment for Quentin Clark.
He was a loose down the straightaway.
And that's the danger. That transition from turn 4. You kind of never stop turning here at Kansas. It kind of spits you off. It's a very short run before you're into the dog leg.
The dog leg here is a good turn. And that exit off of turn 4, the banking kind of falls away. You're still loaded up with the grip, and the back end just kind of slides out.
Oh, big contact! Hunter Waters slides down to the inside of the racetrack. He may have kept that off the fence after contact with John Moeller. Now Daniel Pigston scrapes the wall. Take a look at the replay on this one. Oh, Moeller got a little bit sideways. What a save by Hunter Waters.
Wow. That is impressive.
We'll give the Bizzle joke. He was definitely in a pickle. And now at the front of the field, this is the battle for the race lead. That looks like a Delaware double file restart, and Johnny Avila. Yes, Johnny Avila is the first car one lap down in the 17th position.
He's going to go 3 wide.
Hold on to it. Wow. Jeff Yenish almost into Richard Smith II.
Here goes the field. He's going to unlock himself.
Avila able to do it organically, and he's bringing Andrew Moore Jr. with him.
Oh, Carroll got in the wall there. Right in the racetrack. Tap the wall.
So Johnny Avila out front is not the race leader. That's Andrew Moore Jr., the second car in line. Oh, the teammates almost make contact. Oh my goodness, what a show these guys are putting on here tonight. That's exactly it.
That would be an impressive performance if he unlapped himself next. I think they've got it all out of their system here.
Maybe. The battle for the race lead is still Actually, no, that's Andrew Mraz in the 45 trying to get a lap back as well. He's going to do that on the outside. So now we have 2 lap cars running in front of the race leader. Andrew Moore Jr., the 3rd car in line, is the race leader. That's the red and white 77, followed by Richard Smith II. And Justin Rideout, though we talked about having to save his tires and really baby this thing, he's up back into position number 4. And the caution's out. Yellow flag is out.
Wow.
Trouble for
Mraz
Garrett.
grabs a left back, and Avila gets himself back on the lead lap.
Trouble for Garrett Johnston. Oh, a little bit of a kiss from Quentin Clark. Oh, and Clark goes around. Oh, Tyler Seville may have gotten a piece of that too. But Johnston goes around fully. That brings out the caution flag.
To see if Clark and Seville got sideways and all. I don't know. Such a great job avoiding this.
Oh, little kiss of the wall.
I think he'll be all right. I don't know if that's going to be. I don't think that'll be very serious damage. I don't think he hit it that hard. But this is perfect for Avila. Avila pitted during that last caution.
Well, and now the question becomes, if you have the extra set of tires, do you use them here?
We're at 37 laps left to go. That's... You have to save a little bit. There, we got some takers. No, we don't. Yes, we do.
Yep, Jeff Yedish going to make his way down pit lane, as does Braden Carroll. Moore, Smith, Rideout, Haight all stay out onto the racetrack. Most of the field behind them will elect to come down pit lane. Hunter Waters and Richard Fletcher will stay out, as does Johnny Avila. Avila is going to restart 7th, or at least choose 7th in line for this restart.
It's worked out pretty well for him. So Mraz gets not only did he get one of his laps back, he also got a free pass. So he's now 4 laps down. It's a ways off, but it's doable.
I would
need a lot more help, but it's an impressive effort.
He needs help, but he is the first car a lap down, so he will continue to get the lucky dog until the race leader laps somebody else.
Which I think might be happening soon. Seville seems to be fixing a lot of damage.
Yeah, Tyler Seville upwards of 50 seconds on pit lane, as is Tom Wilhite.
I think that's Seville's got back out on track. Wilhite, is he gonna beat the pace car out? His pit time has stopped, which means he's rolling now. And he does beat the pace car out. So stays the first car a lap down.
Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can't talk to Andrew Moore Jr. here while we are under the caution flag. And Andrew, bringing you up into the booth with us here. Thank you very much for joining us. That 77 Weiss Markets machine has looked pretty sporty here tonight. Possibly some strategy playing out in your favor here as well, too.
Well, right now I have good track position, but I'm out of tires. If it goes green from here on out, I should be a pretty good finish. But I see, a bunch in my mirror just took tires, so I'm probably going to get caught.
How do you kind of mentally prep yourself for that and decide what the strategy is going to be? I mean, obviously you can, do the clutch and coast or shut the car off and doing some of these other things, but it's not easy to say, I have to make this last to the finish and I have to run hard to keep the lead.
Yeah, I got enough gas to go the rest of the way, but I just got to save enough tires so I'm not knocking the wall down and have a strong finish at this point. Didn't expect another caution. All
right, buddy. Well, good luck the rest of the way here as you guys are down to 1 to go Thank you very much for joining us in the booth here. We appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a good one.
So there you go. There's Andrew Moore Jr. in the 77. He'll be your race leader at the restart. He elects to restart on the inside lane, and he will be the control car. To his outside will be the 23, Richard Smith II. A fantastic drive for Smith. In fact, let's show you the hard charger numbers, because the top 3 on your hard charger are the top 3 on the racetrack right now. Actually, the top 4 on hard charger are the top 4 on the racetrack. It's going to be Andrew Moore Jr., Richard Smith II, on row number 1. Justin Rideout and Troy Haight, looks like, on row number 2. Row 3 will be Hunter Waters and Richard Fletcher. And on row number 4, Johnny Avila will be to the inside. And to his outside, trying to get a look at who that's going to be as we get ready to go back to green here. But Fletch is leaving a pretty fair gap to Troy Haight here. Yeah, Jeff Yenish.
A gap in that outside lane.
Things get tightened back up. Green flag goes back in the air. We are underway with 33 laps to go. Moore. Yeah, he going. At least temporarily, anyway.
We saw right up be really aggressive with these restarts.
Yeah, now how about Hunter Waters? He was just sideways down the back straightaway, making save of the night. And now he's inside the top 5, battling for a spot on the podium.
Oh.
Gosh, these guys are so twitchy now.
There you go. I mean, you can taste it. You can see the end of the race. I don't think I'm going to let you in. I don't think I'm going to cut you in right. Yeah, you know, doing malicious things. You're just saying the leeway is gone.
Yes, the leeway's gone. Brandon Carroll having a big look inside of Johnny Avila into 3. He's going to get that pass completed. Now he's going to work on Hunter Waters.
Now right up on the back of Hunter Waters in 3 and 4. He was going inside of him. I think Avila's
well, and Carroll may have the freshest tires on the racetrack, or at least among the freshest tires. Possibly seeing
Clark is what led me to.
Yeah, Quentin Clark's another one that could have a very fresh set of tires here.
You saw he had some speed, so he's got those fresh tires. You can't push full out. We saw the tires, they started, particularly in stage 1, they started to die pretty quick. That's right. About 95%.
Yeah, it's not like it's a 20-lap run or a 15-lap run that you can say, okay, it's time to go. It's still a 30-lap run, and basically what we've seen to be about the extent of a good run on these sets of tires.
Yeah, we are going to be sideways at the finish. It's going to be something to see.
Yeah, especially for a guy like Justin Rideout, who's already working 31 laps on his tires. And potentially he could be as high as 61 laps on that last set of tires. That would be impressive if he could bring that car home, even in the top 5.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how he manages that tire wear. He's still working on Richard Smith, right? He's still working. He needs to get that done sooner than later. And Quentin Clark is flying. He is taking care of Carroll. He just took care of Kate. He's going to start trying to find a way through this two-line action here between Smith and Ryder. And that might be that single file right there might be what he needs.
Yeah, and quite frankly, it's also a little bit of what Andrew Moore needs as well, because if these guys are able to clear Rideout, they will start chasing down Moore at the front of the field. If Rideout's able to hold these guys up, Moore does not have to run full throttle to try to make a ton of ground. We're almost, gosh, just Talladega. 2 rows, 3 wide. Through 3 and 4 that time.
Big run. He's going to have to. Right now, got to get to the bottom here. Nope, he does not. And Quentin Clark. Ooh.
Let's go on board with Justin Rideout. Follow this battle along as Smith's going to look inside. Well, you heard him. He's shifting down to 4th at this point. The other thing I'm noticing, he is really late on the throttle as well.
He is lost. I think Quentin Clark is going to have to. Got to get aggressive. Got to get right up. His tires are starting.
Yeah, you can hear the squeal of the big slide up the racetrack. Clark able to clear.
If he can take care of these two, looks like he's faster than him. If he can take care of these two here, I think he might have a good shot at this one.
Well, we'll see. We're down to 23 laps to go here at Kansas in what has been a spectacular show from the Sim Racers Club here tonight. Clark able to clear Richard Smith, put himself up into position number 3. Shout Brandon Medford here as well. Brandon having a very nice run, and I believe his first start with the Sim Racers Club. Right now, as it stands, Quentin Clark does have the most laps led award as well, but he has 31 to Braden Carroll's 26, and Andrew Moore has 19. So with 22 to go, Moore could potentially take that crown for most laps led.
Look at the point summary here for Clark. I'll remember his exact finish in stage 1. I think it was 8th. 1 stage 2. He's looking pretty strong for a top 3 here. Finish of the race. This is a good race for him, and one where we've seen the strategy flip on its head about 3 times.
Yeah, that's exactly right. In fact, we're starting to see it a little bit here too. Brandon Medford making up a bunch of ground on Andrew Moore Jr. To recap Justin Rideout, the tires have fallen off that race car. He is now back to the 10th position and losing ground pretty quickly here. As Clark looks inside of Medford into 1 and 2 with 20 to go.
Johnston was running into the wall before that caution came out, and he's running up the field now.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys, that they had an extra set left in the box, and they're putting them to good use.
I am surprised that the real is not removed. I think he might have used his extra set up. Just look at that. It is the bottom, the very bottom. Those are the best too. You can make them work, but you have to be so much faster. Side by side, you just get trapped behind it. And that's what Avila's dealing with.
And how about it? Brandon Medford coming around Andrew Moore Jr., bringing Quentin Clark with him, a 2-for-1 blue light special. And Garrett Johnston now looking inside. Moore's going to go 1st to 4th in the span of a few quarters.
You talked about those tires going away. I think 1st to 4th might be our indication.
Yeah, that was kind of what Andrew was worried about, was not necessarily getting jumped on the restart or anything, but just the fact that he was out of tires, and at this point sitting 33 laps into the run.
Back off. Clark almost put a bumper on him there. I think Mefford just let the pass way earlier than Clark thought he was going to.
Tell you what, Mefford doing a nice job of using the entire racetrack. Going to force Quentin Clark into, well, shoving the door open to turn number 1. We'll see what Johnston's going to be able to do if he can come through as well.
Good job by Mefford to get all the way up the racetrack. Yep. It's that huge run down the back straight. Look at that.
Man alive.
Can't go bottom, give everything all clear.
And quite frankly, for Quentin Clark, that's what I was just about to say. It is frustrating because you think you see an opening, you go to make a move, and then the leader's right back in front of you again, almost forcing you to take a different lane and give up any of that time you might have gained.
Yeah, he's picking his line here with absolute precision. And bringing Johnson right back into this park and saying, you want to come fight with me, you're going to have to deal with this guy instead.
Yeah, you have to watch your mirror. Yep, watch your mirror as much as you're watching what's going on out the front. Because, I mean, even as Johnson, well, he slaps the wall a little bit in turn number 1. But Andrew Moore Jr. is not going away. Quentin Clark is starting to catch up. That entire second pack, the top 12 are all within 3 seconds. This race is absolutely not over yet.
No, not by any means. Clark's got to find a way to get to the outside here and not have.
I tell you what, Gabe Mefford, a big shove down into turn 1. That can screw you up a little bit. You carry a little bit more speed than you intended. But Mefford does a nice job of holding on to it.
He's doing an amazing job of just using that top foot.
And one of the things that iRacing has developed is it's that sort of that cushion of air that you get. The closer you run to the wall, you kind of get this little buffer of air that can keep you from making contact. It's something that Kyle Larson has used to incredible effect in the real world. It's something you can do here on iRacing, and I think we're seeing Brandon Mefford do a little bit of that.
He's doing a top line to perfection. He's entering nice and high, getting up there, and then just taking the shortest line he can off the exit, which is drop down about half a lane, straight line the exit, go as fast as you can.
Garrett Johnston
slides past Clark.
Yeah, nice pass on the outside of Quentin Clark through turns 3 and 4. Johnston may have smacked the wall. Oh, a little bit of a shove from Carroll.
It is go time. Carroll gave him the bumper there.
Yeah, that was, I didn't mean to wreck him. I just wanted to rattle his cage. Maybe some cage rattling going on there from Braden Carroll. And Quentin Clark gives up a ton of time. Now Brandon Mefford has to worry about Garrett Johnston. And
I think he's going to worry about he's got an active bumper.
Yeah, Braden Carroll is flying right now. Carroll is on, they're all on basically the same pitch strategy here as well. 26, 24 laps on the tires for everybody up front here. Andrew Moore, the outlier, in 4th place with 40 laps already on his set of tires.
Johnny Avila and Coach Miller battling it out. They are hammering it out back there. It's a good recovery. I hate that we're not going to totally see it because these guys up front are putting on a show. And there goes Carroll.
Yep, Braden Carroll makes the dive inside. That was a power move into turn number 3. At the line, new race leader Braden Carroll. And he could, with 8 laps to go, potentially take away that most laps led award from Quentin Clark. Carroll sitting on now 27 laps led.
Run down on Carroll, and I don't quite think it's going to work.
Yeah, potentially. Over the 5 and 10 lap averages, it's about a tenth, actually now up to 2/10 over the 5 lap average. That Carroll is quicker than Mefford. Over the 15 lap average, Carroll's about 4/10 of a lap. 4/10 per lap faster.
It's a pretty good run, and he's already put 4/10 on it. Just since he got by him, and Mefford's going to have to adjust because that is a much more pressing issue.
It'll be 6 to go this time by. Braden Carroll already with 2 wins on the season, and the pattern could possibly be repeating itself. Braden Carroll got the season opening win at the Charlotte Roval. Johnny Avila gets the win at Dover. Braden Carroll wins at the Daytona Oval. Johnny Avila won last week at Bristol. If the pattern holds, it would be Braden Carroll looking to pick up the win here this week. And quite frankly, extending the points lead pretty significantly here as well.
Yeah, and after that last stint there, you can't say he didn't earn that. He drove his way through the field pretty decisively. I don't think there's any debate about that.
And lap traffic was what made things interesting the last time.
Mefford's starting to pull the gap in a little bit.
Yeah, down to 4 to go. Going to catch John Moeller. Mefford all the way up against the outside wall.
I think he got a little bit too close there.
Yeah, slowed him up ever so slightly here, because Garrett Johnston was able to come past. Call it a 4-car length gap at the line with 3 to go. Now the question becomes, did Braden Carroll save enough of those Goodyear Racing Eagles?
I think he took the strategy that you mentioned earlier. Get far enough and
yeah, it works.
That's his strategy.
It kind of works late in the race, that is for sure. Over the 5-lap average, Johnston is 2 1/1000ths of a second faster than Braden Carroll.
5/10 is a lot.
Yeah, it's going to take Braden Carroll having a big moment, getting loose off of one of the corners, something like that, I think.
Yeah, if you're Carroll, you're baiting. He's from the bottom. Just from the bottom. Hit your arms. Ooh, Johnson picked up a 10th there.
Oh, he's getting closer the whole way down the front straightaway, too. White flag is out. 1 lap to go here in Kansas. Does Garrett Johnston have anything for Braden Carroll?
With 4 car lengths, he cannot make a mistake.
No, but if Carroll does, we could be in for a shootout. Through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. That 24 machine looks clean here. Underneath the checkered flag. And Braden Carroll gets the win at Kansas. And he got big time loose, getting that transition down onto the apron. Garrett Johnston going to come home second. Brandon Mefford finishing third here this evening.
Look at Avila up in 5th place.
Yeah, Johnny Avila started 5th, finished 5th. Ho-hum, nothing really went on. Except he was front to back to 5th again.
That might be the hardest zero-sum game finish I've ever seen.
There is.
Deserved burn.
Absolutely. Braden Carroll burning him down on the front straightaway. While he does the festivities, we'll get ready here and show you tonight's final finishing order. Carroll gets the win by 0.3 of a second over Johnston. Mefford with a nice run comes home in third. Johnston, by the way, your hard charger of the race tonight, gaining 17 positions.
Oh.
Andrew Moore Jr., Johnny Avila complete the top 5. How about that finish? Avila and Seville by, 13 thousandths of a second?
I think 18, but
18, whatever. Your math. Great finish there between those two. Quentin Clark, Jeff Yenish, Hunter Waters, and Troy Haight complete the top 10. Finishing in 11th tonight, Doug Wysocki. Richard Smith II comes home 12th. 13th to Daniel Pinkston. 14th, Justin Rideout. And A.J. Digby finishing in 15th. Tom Wilhite in 16th, the final car on the lead lap. Richard Fletcher going one lap down right there at the very end of the race, comes home 17th. Andrew Mraz with the unfortunate disconnection. He is the Hard Luck Award winner tonight. That car was a rocket ship at the front of the field, and an unfortunate disconnection early on has him 4 laps down at the finish. John Moeller and Mike Larch complete back through the 20th position. And Anthony Hanley, first car out of the race, he will come home in 21st. So we'll get ready for our Victory Lane interviews, and we will kick things off tonight with your race winner, Mr. Braden Clark. Oh, my goodness, man. The pattern repeats itself again. You get a win, Johnny gets a win, you get a win, Johnny gets a win. Now you get your 3rd win of the season. Congratulations. That just an incredible drive tonight. How was the car? Because from where we were sitting, it looked like you did not have many problems tonight.
It was beautiful. It was driving great in practice. Figured I was running the top, I'd run the bottom. I was just trying to figure out what saved more tire, and it was the bottom. It was the bottom for sure. And once I got rolling on the bottom, if I went up top, that would be just so tight. So there was no point even going up there. And rolling the bottom for the whole run just worked.
Like we said, the car just seemed like it was really good throughout the race. And you also kind of had to play the pit strategy game right as well. It wasn't as simple as stop at the end of stage 1, break the second half, the second and third stages, cut those 2 in half, make your stop there. There was a lot that went in to keep making sure you had the right amount of tire at the right time here tonight.
Yeah, there was, when that caution came out in the 60s, there was no way I was gonna take my final set there. That was just too long to go, but I realized how many people took their final set there, and I don't know how I was able to stay out front on that restart for that long. That was great. And then we had a caution 10 laps later, and I was like, well, sweet.
Yeah, you're able to take advantage, and right at the very end, picking up the bonus for the most laps led as well. I mean, I don't know that there's much that you can complain about tonight. Make up some point or pick up some additional points on Johnny here in the championship battle as we are approaching the halfway point of the season. You got to be pretty jacked up about how this season is shaping up so far.
Oh, we are definitely here for the championship this season. I had a shit ton of points on Johnny tonight. That's more than doubled for sure. So it's looking really good. Got a lot of good tracks coming up. So, I mean, just keep doing what I'm doing, hopefully.
All right, buddy. Well, get the throwback paint scheme ready. There are a lot of iconic schemes you could run for that number 24. Looking forward to that next week at Darlington. But before we let you go here, brother, congratulations once again. Let's do all the sponsor plugs and thank yous that you want to get in here.
Yeah, we got a lot of good options for paints, as you were saying, next week. I mean, yeah, Jeff Gordon's got a lot of good ones. So there's your little hint. But, yep, thanks to Zeems for all their good work and good stuff. Yep. Cody for making my paint. Cody Porter made me a beautiful paint like forever ago, but I still love it. Shane, my friend Shane, just got back and he's spotted for me tonight, so that was great stuff. Yeah, really, like you said, I got nothing to complain about.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here up in the booth. And now it's time to talk to our runner-up finisher tonight, Mr. Garrett Johnston. And my goodness, man, we talked to Braden and we said that was kind of it went to plan. I don't know that you could have planned for the night that you had, or at least you wouldn't have planned it totally. The car was good. You found the wall a couple of times. There was a lot that went on there in that 15 machine.
No, if y'all were playing at home taking a shot every time I hit the wall, you might not be awake to watch the broadcast anymore, but it worked out.
Yeah, my color commentator Ben tonight was hitting bourbon every time you hit the wall. He's barely conscious at the moment, but I tell you what, it was really fun to watch you guys late in that race. I don't know that anybody had outright pace to keep up with Braden late, but you certainly put on a heck of a show. You and Brandon. It has to be kind of difficult to work the leader's right in front of me. I want to get past him here, but I got to watch the guy who's behind me. And all at the same time, I have to not bake the tires off the car too.
Yeah, it definitely gets tough, but it's a fun track, and it's one of those where if you know how to drive it and manage your stuff, you can hang in for the long run. Yeah, we were, Braden and I were running pretty much identical lap times there at the end, and Brandon and I run with him all the time, so it's always a pleasure, and it's nice to run up front with guys that are going to run you clean.
Yeah, you can say that again, because, man, you guys put on one heck of a show here tonight. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming out and joining the league, and congratulations on the podium tonight. Before we let you go, though, brother, let's do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous you want to get in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, thank you guys for doing this and running the show up in the broadcast booth, and a big thanks to everyone that makes the league possible, and thanks to the sponsors of the league as well, Mint Mortgage and Realty Executives and Northland Leisure. But yeah, and big shout out to everyone watching at home. My dad, grandma, aunt, my fiance, and I. Yeah, it's good to have a good run.
Yes, it is. It's always good to be good and good to be talked to after the race. Thank you very much, Garrett. We appreciate you coming to check in with us. And now it's time to talk to Brandon Mefford. Brandon, I have to check in with you first. Was this your first career start with the Sim Racers Club? You've only made a couple if you've made more than one.
Oh, dude, they got me in here with 5 minutes of practice left to go. First night, man.
Well, I tell you what, it's a heck of a show to put on for a first night, and kind of the similar situation. We talked to Garrett a little bit. The car was really good, but it was not one of those just put it up front and keep it there all night. You had an adventure on your hands at times.
Yeah, man, I know on the high side you could really hold some guys off, but I think the bottom side was probably saving tires better. So once I got out front there towards the end of the race, I was, trying to battle off that 24 or 42. I can't remember his number, but I just stayed up there too long, I think, and I got too tight in the middle. And but man, what a freaking blast to join these guys and have such a good run. Great, clean race at that. So I had a blast.
Yeah, that's one of the kind of the hallmarks of the Sim Racers Club shows. Are a lot of long green flag runs. I don't know what else you do on the service, but sometimes that's a really nice change of pace from running C fixed and spending half the race under caution.
Oh, absolutely. I race in some other leagues. As you can see, I got a paint for this car. So I raced this car in a league a couple years ago, a couple seasons ago, I guess you should say. So I'm all over the sim. I like to do NASCAR stuff. So, man, I enjoy the crap out of it, and then these guys let me hop in last second. Sam actually was our admin last year in another series I ran, so kind of already knew who I was. So very happy they let me in, and can't thank them enough for it.
Well, congratulations on a first night, first show, short notice podium here, Brandon. Congratulations on it. And before we let you go, do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous you want to get in here too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like I said, I just got here tonight. I don't know who all sponsored the league, but I hear they got a bunch of sponsors here. So special shout out to those guys. It's great to come into a league with a lot of backing like that. And then thanks to Sam for letting me in. Everybody over here at the league, all the guys that put on a show tonight. I mean, great stinking show for Kansas, which could Could go long green flags or it could be a crash fest. So shout out to them. Great close racing. And then just shout out to Garrett and Doug Wysocki at Charity Motorsports for asking me to hop over here and race. And then all my other Charity Motorsports guys. And then last but not least, my family for letting me hop in here last minute and have a little fun.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here in the booth. And, man alive, Ben, you were a short notice call up for this one, too. And you got to see a heck of a show for your first time out with these guys.
That was an amazing race. There was strategy was flipping every which way. The leader was flipping every which way. We had points battles to look at. We had on-track battles to look at. We had strategy battles to look at. I mean, that had something of everything for everyone. That was a phenomenal race. And big shout out to Brandon Mefford. 5 minutes of practice, show up, put in a podium run, and lead a bunch of laps and put in a great defensive drive. That was an impressive race from a lot of folks on a lot of fronts.
Yeah, that's a great point because you do this with 5 minutes of practice and you have to learn a fixed setup, a setup that you probably haven't ever driven before. That's not an easy thing to do. I mean, some of the fixed setup leagues that run, these guys will practice all week on a fixed setup. Impressive drive for Brandon Mefford to put that car up on the podium. Man, Braden Carroll extending the championship lead. This is going to be a fun second half of the season, but we got a lot going on here still the rest of this week and all of next week here on the National Racing Network. Coming up tomorrow night, the Indy Pro 2000 Championship will run round number 6 of their season at Oran Park. Follow it up with the Silver Crowns next Monday night, taking on our first visit to Kern County Raceway Park. I cannot wait to introduce that track to you people because, man alive, it is going to be a blast to watch the Crowns rip around there. TNT Shock Series heads to Twin Ring Motegi on Tuesday night. That broadcast will air 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then we're right back here next week with the Sim Racers Club, the Throwback 177 presented by Will Worsler Racing. Coming up from Darlington, round number 6 of 12. It'll be the halfway point. And some big prize money going out the door, too. $15, $10, and $5 for best throwback paint scheme. It sounds like Braden Carroll's going to break out a Jeff Gordon scheme. Garrett Johnston may win it if he shows up in the old Ricky Rudd Motorcraft colors from the 80s on that number 15. But, man, so many great schemes that we could see on these cars. Looking forward to that next week. Whole lot going on. You don't want to miss it, but now it's time for us to get the heck on out of here. Ben, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in on short notice. Bizzle, hopefully we see you back here next week, or at least we can talk about why you're not here tonight, but that's a different story. Good luck, brother. That's all I'm going to tell you. For Ben, Bizzle, and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.